Hello, everybody. Fearmy Games back here once again with a Guild Wars faction playthrough time. So, you guys remember last time we finished up a couple of quests in Melandru's Hope? It's time to go back once again to Ferndale, since we have a couple of quests taking us there. First one is the Beak of Darkness once again wants us to find somebody in Ferndale. Um, This one's definitely not the strongest request considering we started Ferndale. Someone said, "Oh, talk to this other guy." We just, oh, the other guy's like, "Actually, now talk to somebody else in Ferndale." It's like, come on. I feel like this could have been, streamlined a bit better. Then we got the experimental weaponsmith, which is also taking us back to Ferndale from Scholar Andridge. I believe that's all of the quests we currently have active. That is in Ferndale, so we'll see how it goes through. Don't have the craziest amount of time today to get through all the stuff going on, so this might be a bit of a shorter episode compared to how I usually do it. Though, shorter episode is actually kind of my goal. I usually end up making a longer episode because I'm not the best at condensing things down. So we'll see. You guys will know how long it takes me to get through this part in the end. So, if I succeeded, great. If I failed, that just means hopefully more content for you that you guys can enjoy. Um, yeah, it's just been a busy week. Busy. Well, today it's harder to technically call it busy. I mean, there's been some chores I want to do. Like I had some dishes I need to get done, um, and I need to still do the laundry. But I, but I also did spend at least an hour watching Interstellar on 4K. That I ended up getting that one because it was on a good sale, along with Spider-Man No Way Home. But I'm like, I have a session I still need to prepare for tonight. I have a whole lot of stuff that needs to get done for tonight. I admittedly should have used the time I had to get my session ready for tonight because I'm planning, assuming the players go in this direction, of repurposing a dungeon that comes with the module itself for a new purpose because the way I'm running the campaign is that I'm having things progress. So this potential quest for the party has already been completed by an NPC, but to kind of keep the world progressed, I'm gonna be having that the repurposed by another group is the best way of putting it. One, it means I don't have to hunt a new map. But two, I think it just kind of makes a little bit of logical sense. So that's kind of why I'm doing it. But I didn't get the dungeon ready. Thankfully, it's not going to be the crazy amount of work. I've had most of the stat blocks ready and organized. I just need to figure out how I'm going to get it divvied out. The most time-consuming part about it is if there is a lot of um, brain. Is that if there is a lot of walls I need to build because that's the most tedious part. But otherwise, I have a general plan of how it's going to go. And if you're one of my players here for a moment, skip 5 minutes ahead just to be on the safe side. Yeah, just in case. But to kind of tie the party over to there's not really main story, but kind of getting them onto the direction of potentially being in a position to end things. Mostly because I'm worried about if I'll be able to keep running the campaign into the fall when my semester starts because I'm going to be super busy. I'll be working full time and doing full time classes. But the brain. But basically, they're going to be going to an area trying to find the children of one of the potential mayor for Bryn Shannon because the mayor had been assassinated. Um, and they found that one of the candidate who's for the bad guys is actually being controlled because they've kidnapped his kids. They've saved one of them, his daughter. They found another one. Oh, apparently this guy's only surrounding him. He must be a trap. Otherwise, I don't know why he's alive. Sorry, we found Master Smith Ruger for those of you who are watching and don't care about the campaign and stuff. But I've decided to place. I was back and forth initially about where I was going to place him, but I decided in the end I'm going to place him near an area that they're supposed to go later in the if they were doing the main part of the module. And if they decide to go down that path to save him, it will also start the chain of events to potentially get them in a position to complete the campaign. Um, which should be kind of interesting to see if they do that. But let's get to what Master Smith Rutger has to say. He says, "This spirit essence is from Andred, you say. So his research was successful, at least in part. I used to be his assistant. Did you know that? Then the Luxons attacked, and my wife and child, I lost everything dear to me. That day, I couldn't eat or sleep for months. Finally, my house redemptor came to talk to me. Helped me realize that the gods had a plan for me, and it was my duty to follow it. So, bah. Enough of my life story. Thank you for delivering this. Come back soon, and I should be able to craft you some weapons imbued with this spirit essence." He gives us 3,000 experience, 750 Kurzik faction, 250 gold, and an equipment requisition. Let's just champ equipment requisitions that they're not very useful for me in the long term. Alright, Beak of Darkness. We'll make our way over there. It's kind of like, thankfully not on the complete opposite side of the map, but it is a bit further out. I kind of realized something I could have done with Melandra Soap yesterday, I'll have to do later, is I could have taken that one, I think, to Jade Quarry from around there, but oh well. I think that episode was long enough already, if memory serves. Alright, let's try to make our way over. I think we have to go this way to get to where we're going. Yeah, it'll be kind of interesting to see how that if they decide to bite it or not. If it doesn't complete by the end of summer, which honestly I'd be very surprised if it does get completed, but assuming it doesn't, oh no, I accidentally destroyed a friendly spirit. There, I fat fingered gave the Fury and it auto targeted to the nearest spirit. That nearest spirit being a support spirit. Oops. Oh well, you know, happens to the best of us, right? Oops. But is that because my concern is if I can't can finish off the campaign by the end of the summer, and if I end up getting too busy, I might have to just put that campaign on hiatus and convince my party to move over to Dragonbane instead of Savage Worlds because that campaign would actually be extremely easy for me to. Um, I was hoping to do something with that. Oh well, it's fine. Where's the healer? There he is. Found you, buddy. There we go. Healer's dead. Now it's just the swarm of dredge. But yeah, if I can't finish by the end of the fall and the summer, and if the fall semester ends up being as busy as I'm worried it's gonna be, then if I move to Dragonbane, it'll be make my life a lot easier because I don't have to prepare as much. Because while I'm running, you know, Icewind Dale Rime the Frostbane, I'm also homebrewing a lot of it and modifying a lot of it. You know, still keeping the James Sammo premise, but it's one way to put it is I'm like fleshing it out quite a lot because you know there's why does the speakers do this? They don't like you know it's kind of like the sacrifice going on, but nothing's happening. It's like why don't they just stop? You know, beyond just the idea of you know we just haven't done it enough. And then putting some minor elements that they had and expanding upon it to try and basically create an active faction that the players are able to encounter has kind of been an interesting experience. That one, so it's kind of like you know partly pre-made, partly homebrewed. So nice comment. It's actually one of the things I like when I run a campaign is I don't like to like it necessarily one to one. I do like to modify it somewhat. Um, to try and get you know a bit more of a feel to it. but it does mean a bit more work, especially if I'm using a module that I have to import all the information out for myself to Foundry. It's just a lot more work. We've encountered Conrad Vassberg about information on the Black Moa. Conrad was asked, his initial thing, I assume this is just whenever you talk to him, it says, "Are you here to ask about my scars? Someone wrote a scroll about them once." Says, and then when I asked him about the Moa, he's like, "Who could fit that foul? Blood gushing from its beak like a waterfall, squawking and screaming, chaos and feathers. Yes, I remember that day in all its glory, sordid and disgusting details. We were lucky to escape with our lives and all of our appendages. The one detail that escapes me is the location of our attack. If you truly wish to find the Black Moa, you must ask Rupchak Brower. If anyone knows where he lives, he does. Where it lives, he does, sorry. Want to see my scars? Have a... No, you kind of creep me out, buddy. So this is now directing us to Drazak Thicket, which has a nice synergy with some of our other ones, which the main story and the other two side quests we have both take us over there. And be quite a short episode if I just skip past it. Oops. I'm going to real fast go through some of our quests over here, see what can be done. While we, like, just do what I can maybe get done today. Without having, because I feel like that's going to be, you know, a whole lot more time than I want to dedicate to it right at this moment. We have a couple side quests we didn't do yet in Canton proper. So I think what we'll do is we're going to first... Yeah, actually, this is taking us there anyways. So what we're going to do is we're going to go back to Canton proper. And I'm going to try and do the Layla. No, thank you. We're going to try and do Naga Oil. We'll have to get a different party together because of the simple fact that not everybody I think will be available at the marketplace, right? Yeah, most people were not available yet, so we're gonna have to get back a party back together. What I'd say is that it's all reliable friends of ours. Honestly, I don't remember if Shock is better than Earth. I'm just gonna take Shock, just for the fun of it. Technically, I could get rid of Talon. It'll make it so we have no melee guys, but who said magic was overkill anyway? Oops, what the? Why did you not? Did I kick you on accident? I must have kicked you on accident. I'm going out real fast just to check to see if. Oh, good, he's nearby. I was like not sure if he was nearby. If he was, and we're gonna have to go on a bit of travel. Yeah, we have inventory space to spare. Oh, they're all melee, so that was a bit of a waste of the Spear Rift. Oh well. Where is Zoe? I did not do the basic due diligence of making it so Zoo was um, at the bottom of the map, so that way he can make my life easy by being a convenient splinter weapon target. I'm casting splinter weapon. Nope, not splinter weapon. Spear Rift is what I meant to say before he ran away, but we end up aggroing them anyways. Gonna cast Destruction here. I'm going to put Bloodsong there. Incestuous Wrath really does not do as much damage as I think it would. Excuse me. I'm trying to resist the urge to spam my mouse too much. That's what I usually do when I play. I spam my mouse, but I noticed that the thing that I have set up for compressing the microphone picks not like for background noise on the microphone. Still picks up my mouse on occasion, so to reduce the likelihood of it happening, I'm just going back to using my arrow keys to move, just trying to make that into a habit. Of course, I still use my mouse to select targets and things like that. ones I don't use tab targeting for, I guess I should say, because that is actually a habit that I actually did have for like probably 10 years of playing this game. It feels like it was that long at least. Where I would use my mouse to select targets manually and then start attacking. Um, but like I want to say is around the time I started playing Final Fantasy 14, or maybe a little bit, maybe another MMO right like before that one, but there's also tab targeting, and I got into the habit of tab targeting on that campaign. Um, and because I got into the habit of and then with that game, I was like, okay, if Guild Wars has tab targeting, I should try to like see if I can use the muscle memory I'm getting in this game. Oops, that happened. I think my right mouse button got stuck when I was moving around and stuff. Uh, and decided to kind of train that muscle for Guild Wars 1. Well, I feel like I had Naga stuff and I sold it. That's why I haven't completed this one yet, because I am big dum dum who does not have any Naga oil. Ain't that awkward? Ain't that extremely awkward? Um, yeah, that's very awkward. Alright, well, we're going elsewhere, team. I apologize for this. There's no editor in this video series. I don't have the skill nor the money for that. So yeah, you guys get to enjoy me being going on a little of a sidetrack where I remember why I haven't done that quest yet. One day I will get the log oil, not sell it, and actually use it for that quest. Try to see if I could scrape over here to get this like unexplored area off my map. It looks like it's not right there, so I can grab it. So we're going into the Undercity after all. Somewhere you've been somewhere else. Oh, you guys got to enjoy my commentary there. You know, it wasn't all wasted, not all wasted. Uh, let's see, but yeah, we're kind of going from Nafui Quarter. For those of you who are listening but not watching, we're leaving Nafui Quarter, going to the Undercity. Hopefully, the entrance to the Undercity is not too far away from where this boss is. We'll find out. Let's see, no healers in this group. It's all Ampha. But because we completed that other quest in the past, these Ampha, instead of being green, are now red like they're supposed to be. Death to the Necro. Death. Oh, there we go. Oh, walked right into a trap there. How rude! You're dead. Why'd you leave a trap when you know you're gonna be dead? We will have to be probably somewhat careful here because we all. Never mind. They aggro to us. They made our life so much easier. I was about to say we're gonna have to be a little bit careful here because of the fact that um, that there looks to be multiple groups in close proximity to each other down there. But then they had the decency to aggro to us. At least one of the groups did. So we were able to kill them using the high ground advantage. Feels good, man. We will be aggroing two groups with this one. No help against that, really. But thankfully, in such a way where we have the high ground and the healers of the first group are already dead, and there doesn't seem to be any healers in the second group. They look to be all marksmen. Which, if I wasn't an illustriously amazing ritualist, I might be annoyed about their ability to block my attacks. At least I assume these guys have an attack block. Almost every ranger character, like enemy, has a block. Looks like these guys might not, but they're dying actually pretty quickly. But it's so annoying. It's like, come on, guys. You don't all need lighter reflexes. You could just, die like the mobs you are. But then it's like, no. Your enemy's in PvP. might have a block. So we need to get you ready for that one. So you should prepare, get used to it while you're playing PvE. I was hoping the healers would keep me alive there, but the healers are too focused on the minions. That's what happens when you deal with henchmen, not heroes team. Heroes would have kept me alive there. They would have been like, oh, we'll keep you safe. And I'll be like, thank you. I know I'm the most important person here. Without me, you guys wouldn't be here. And they'd be like, you're right. Alright. Into the portal we go. Our health will reset anyways in the next area. And we'll figure out if I went in the wrong entrance or not. Okay, according to the map, I picked the wrong entrance. Oh well. It's going to be a bit of a longer walk than I was intending. I think it wanted us to maybe leave from Napu Quarter potentially. I'm not 100% certain of that. But we are going in. And we'll just kill all our way over there. Get this quest done. Out of my quest log. You know, polluting my beautiful quest log with its filth. I've used great destruction. It wasn't fully powered, so there's only 88 damage there. However, it was more than enough to kind of get them to the point where just another attack would kill them. Dang, these spike traps are everywhere. I'm being crippled. I do wonder if the Undercity counts towards your map completion or not. Considering the way, because it's not on the world map. I mean, like, you know, there's a map called Undercity, but it's not, you know, on the overall map where you can kind of see empty spots and things like that. I'm kind of following the edge and hoping I'm going at least a reasonable speed in the direction I'm going on. You guys might be shouting and be like, why didn't you just, you know, go cut right through the middle or something? And I'll be like, I did not know that was an option. I know now. Yep, that guy's dead. Blow this up to finish off the assassin. Come on, give me that stamp, give me that cloth. We got an Ampha healer, marksman, and necromancer. So focus the healer first. Drop a new spirit. Yeah, I keep telling myself I'm going to do this every recording, and you guys have heard enough me say this enough, where I just keep feeling it's like, you know, I should have checked before I recorded this video where the ritualist bosses are, that in case I come up upon one, and I can, like, you know, get some elite skills that I actually want to use beyond this weapon of quickening, which I have no intention of ever using, because I'm a channeling magic spawning power ritualist, you know. I'm spawning that guy up. Let me summon this here, blow this up, get some energy back, blow him up to finish him off. Here we go. Another spike trap? I swear if I could put at least like a ban on these spike traps, be like, no, enough, out of you, bastard. I would do it in a heartbeat. Bright side is we're not that far from our destination, it looks like now. So we're just going to go around here. I'm going to touch this altar in the hopes that it makes... So if we do wipe, we're not going to have to trek all the way back here. Thankfully, you know, we killed basically everybody on our way over, but still, I don't have movement speed bonuses. It's going to take a while. So I'm going to try and hug this left side here and just push across the bridge as fast as I can in the hopes that we don't aggro the group behind us. I'm charging in. I'm going to destroy that spirit of life. It's still going to, you know, give some bonus to the enemy, but at least we'll make it so it doesn't get the full timer it needs to properly pop off. I'm gonna drop my Spirit of Destruction right here. They still have the Spirit of Recuperation because I focus on the life instead. There we go. Recuperation's gone. The Fury's leaving away. I feel like we're gonna aggro this group. Oh my god, this is not even a way forward. Oh wait, I think we go down from here and then forward to our destination. I think that's where it wants us to go. So we'll kill this group real fast. I use Spirit of Destruction to kind of hopefully create a kind of a barrier behind me. I'm going to destroy the Spirit of Recuperation because I feel like that's a bit more of a nuisance than um, anything else. While the life will heal when it dies, you know, it has a set timer of when that's going to happen. And it's not like it's a Spirit of Recuperation, not Recuperation, Restoration. I think that's the one that revives people. I was doing some Guild Sensation Vanquishing. That's what yeah, Vanquishing with a friend, with a fieldy of mine, friend of mine. And we had such an area that was super annoying because there was like 2 monks, 2 ritualists, 2 necromancers, and a warrior boss. And so what happened is that I killed the back line like 3 times, but but I wasn't properly taking care of the restorations, and so it res the back line every time I killed them. And then eventually we just lost through the war of attrition. We wiped 2 more times after that one. 1 or 2 more times. I think it was 2 more times. Before we actually killed them. It was a very shameful display from my heroes. I don't see a way up here. Yeah, that looks like a wall. So we're not going to bother going over here. I said we're not bothering to go over here. We're going to lose those minions, unfortunately, but oh well. Yeah, looks like we're going to have to backtrack slightly until we can find a way up. I'm just double checking again. I don't see a way up over there either. So, I feel like I might have just completely wasted time going over in this direction. There's a reason why good Christian people don't come down. Oh, there's a reason why, you know, criminals use this as their hideaway. Makes it harder to find them. This confusing mess of sewers. Hey, look, that boss is being killed by this Kappa. I believe in you, Kappa. I'm going to take care of the Ampha as my priority. Primarily because the Ampha are... They have a healer in their group. The Kappa don't. Also, they have a boss, you know, which doesn't hurt things in terms of prioritization. Let's... I just thought of something very bad that I'm not going to bother bringing up right now. I was just thinking about the next campaign, Nightfall, because like being in here made me think about the post either North content, like Beyond Kryda and things like that, and it just made me think about how um, it made me think about how the um, think of the right word for it. Um, but it made me think about what I'm gonna make, what my Paragon's gonna be, and I was like, you know, it's like, you know, I already made, you know, Fear My games. I made Fear My old games. Should I make Fear My Girl games? Which, would be fitting because most of my characters, most of my characters I have, not all of them, but like my main character is characters I made when I was like in my early teens because I would delete characters and restart them and up until that point. And then so what happened is that I part was like, well, if I didn't do girl games, what would I do? And then this I'm just gonna say it. If you don't watch it more than well, I think it's funny. Where I was like, well, if I do a guy, maybe it's for my blackface because if I that's but I'm like, no, that's gonna be a problem. That's why I was laughing. Hopefully, this out of the way path I just took is the right way to get where I need to go. Otherwise, I've had an extra few minutes to this episode for no good reason. We'll find out. Yeah, I'm leaning towards doing the Fear My Girl games, mostly because of the fact that it would be kind of an homage to how I used to name my characters when I was younger. If you guys have your opinion on which of the two options I just gave you, you might be interested in, feel free to let me know in the comments below. Interesting to see if anybody has an opinion on it. There we go. Yeah, I think we're in the right direction now. There's a bridge over here. The only problem is that it does mean we have to fight ads to get around. I'm trying to see if I can kind of hug the walls and avoid unnecessary combates. But, I make no promises about how well my henchmen are going to work in terms of aggro. Yep, just because yeah, that's not a good thing. Yeah, this is probably gonna be a wipe. I was trying to avoid one group, and I ended up aggroing them anyways. Unless I can run for it. If I can get healer henchmen alive, we would have a res. So we just need to kill Mr. Ray of Judgment! Ray of Judgment! Panic in the streets! Crap. Run, guys, run! No, guy! Wait, I have a res. What am I talking about? I have a res. I don't need you, guy. Well, I mean, I do need you in a way, but I don't need you. I'm gonna try to see if I can kill Miju with just what we got here. Mostly because I don't want him to heal, and thankfully he's his own little group for some reason. Enchies need to move out of the way of that Ray of Judgment, or else I'm gonna be so pissed if they all die because they're dum-dums. Because the fact that they can't, for some reason, move out of the way of a Ray of Judgment, that's the ultimate frustration. Where did my Keys of Fury go? Oh my god, it hit the protection healing spirit. God dang it. Spawn a new destruction that will inflict the damage I need, I think. Perfect, we got him. Alright, victory's ours. We're not almost a wipe, we have the power of resing. My main character, I don't bring a res, so I never consider myself in the resing equation. So it's kind of funny now being in the res equation. I'm still going to flag my heroes back. That way, when they instantly res, they can hopefully run. That's bad. That guy's patrolling over here at the same exact time I'm resing her. Yeah, that was awkward. I'm sorry, Sister Ty, but you're gonna have to die one more time. Just once. Hopefully. I'm actually gonna flag him over here. Mostly because I do need healing. There's more health I have. Those of you guys don't know, flesh of my flesh. I lose half of my health, and they get the health that I sacrifice back on them, which will help them last a little bit longer when they run. I mean, it doesn't necessarily help, as you saw with Miss Sister Ty. But hey, it worked for Mr. Loshaw there, so I'm not going to complain about it too hard. Alright, they're congregating back over here, so I'm going to give it a second. Hopefully they'll patrol away. Flesh of my flesh. Run! Run! Alright, we did it. We recovered. We didn't wipe. Professionals. Alright, so this one is... We find Bakugu and his gang in the Undercity. I assume we have to kill them, but we'll find out. Baku. Well, considering they asked us we were tough enough to challenge them, I assume this is a combat thing. He says, look what the charge dragged in. I did not think you would have the guts to show your face around here. Now let's get a better look at those guts, shall we? I assume that's a threat. Like he's going to try and, you know, stabby. Says, Chong Boy, I thought you might rear your ugly head. Now seems an opportune time to eliminate two problems with one blow. What the hell is Chong Poi? Oh, it's that guy. What? The Tango Wars may be over, but we have not forgotten how to fight. I warn you not to start this fight unless you're ready to see it through this grisly conclusion, Howie. The Tango is well, so be it. Time to dance, my feathered friend. Apparently, we got ourselves in the middle of some kind of faction wars over here. I don't know how it's going to pan out. Oh, apparently it's another one. Not so fast. The Ampha and the Jade Brother are not the only guilds in town. Prepare to taste the steel of the Shadow Blades. I like how they say that, but the Shadow Blades are just more Ampha. Just are LARPing. Let me see if I can force my henchmen back. Because they are truly enemies. Then I can hopefully... oh, what the hell? Oh my god, that was rude. That was just rude, guys. That was so rude. I got ported over. Okay, good. They do actually fight each other, so it, just so happened that I was in the middle of it. Probably would have been the smarter thing to have fallen back sooner. I don't know what guy didn't run where I told him to go. Maybe he was stuck. But thankfully he didn't die for his troubles, so it's not the end of the world. So we've basically have defeated the Baku's gang, the Chong Poi's gang, and the Sour Wind Feathers gang, and now the Tae Zhang's gang. Zhang. I think it's Zhang. I think X is Zhang, right? Or is it Sh? Or is it Shang? It's either Zhang or Shang. I forget how the X is pronounced. I'm leaning towards Shang. Somebody can correct me in the comments below about the proper pronunciation of X-A-N-G in the Chinese context. So now we go to Senjowa for our reward. Senjowa, what is your relation to this situation? Since we have lived in fear for far too long, these gangs took over the neighborhood, demanded protection money, and kept us paralyzed with fear. Thank you for giving us back our dignity. That is me, Fear My Games, bringer of dignity upon the poor. At least that's what, that's what I put on my tombstone. Alright. This went a little bit longer than I intended because of that little under-city visit and actually going to the wrong spot. But oh well. I hope you guys had a good time. I hope you guys have a great day, night, evening, wherever you guys may be. I'll see you next time.